When I was a college athlete, grinding, waking up every day at 4:30 in the morning when I didn't feel like it. No scholarship. I remember the days where I'd wake up, get on my bike. I wake up at 4 o'clock. I'd get on my Specialized bike, ride all the way into Cambridge from downtown Boston. Anybody from Boston knows exactly what I'm talking about. I'd take Star Drive all the way down to Soldiers Field, where the Harvard football team plays. I'd ride there in the morning, go to practice, train until about 8:39. Then I would take my bike, ride it all the way up Starro again to TD North Station, where the Celtics play. I'd go into work, 10 Causeway Street, burned in my memory, Boston, Massachusetts, Federal Building. I'd go work a full day. Then I'd take my bike and ride all the way back into downtown Boston from North Boston and go to my second training session, second practice session, lifting weights. I'd go lift weights with the team, have dinner, go to bed by 8 o'clock, 8:30. I did that for years. No scholarship, grinding. Then, next semester, I'm going to practice and I'm also working my job as well. I'm going to practice, working my job, working my job with the government as an intern, also Division I athlete, and I'm taking classes. That built an enormous amount of character because as I was in college and I saw all my friends partying and all this other shit, I couldn't do that. They were smoking, having a great time. I couldn't do that. I had a government clearance. I didn't want to my future for some fun. So I built up an enormous amount of discipline by being a Division I athlete and also working for the government holding a clearance at 20 years old. And I was broke. I was barely getting paid, right? Then, at 24 years old, I'm in South Texas. All of a sudden, I'm dealing with attorneys. I'm dealing with hitting doors. That job made me grow up quick. I saw some of the worst stuff when I was on a job on the Southwest border. I saw bodies every day. I was handing doors almost every day. I was talking to and the worst of the worst criminals every day. I was responsible for complex, organized criminal cases, dealing with U.S. attorneys every day. SWAT teams, all this. So it forced me to grow up very quick. But the mental fortitude that I built up from being a Division I athlete and making significant sacrifices, and I was a big gym rat back then too. Still training in the gym, going hard as a Division I athlete. All these sacrifices I made in my 20s where everyone else was partying and having fun and having girlfriends and shit like that. I never got in a super serious relationship. I always worked on myself. My 20s, I suffered a lot. I didn't start having fun until I was about 28, 29 years old when I finally came to Miami. I had a year or two of fun there. Pandemic hits, we start the podcast. August 2021, we had all that controversy hitting us. At that point, I quit alcohol for good. I quit partying for good. Because I said, you know what, we gotta lock in. These motherfuckers are trying to destroy our name. Now I'm an entrepreneur, I got a different hat on now. I don't got the Fed hat anymore, but that discipline that I learned from being a collegiate athlete, from going to practice when I didn't want to go, when I was always tired, when I was always sore, when I always felt like when I was broke, when I was riding my bike all around Boston in the cold weather sometimes to go to practice all the way down Starro Drive and back. We're talking about miles and miles of biking, practicing twice a day. That built a certain level of resilience in my mind where I was like, I will not lose. And I took that mindset and I applied it to entrepreneurship. All these tangible skill sets I learned through suffering in my 20s. Something that you don't have, my friend. You know what I was doing at 27 years old? I had one of the biggest drug cases, organized crime drug enforcement task force cases in South Texas. We're talking 50 to 100 defendants. One of the biggest meth rings in South Texas. Involved Lion Kings, dirty cops from San Antonio, dirty troopers, all this. I was working with the FBI and the DEA. We ended up doing a huge takedown. That's what I was doing at 27. I'm able to speak from this position because I've actually done I got receipts behind me to prove that.
You're in your 20s right now. I know that might feel like you have all the time in the world, that the future is some distant thing you don't need to worry about yet. But here's the truth. What you do today, right now, will determine the future you live. Every moment you waste is a moment you'll never get back. There are no do-overs, no resets in life. You can't pause the clock, and you can't rewind the years. Time moves, whether you're ready for it or not. And if you want to live the life you dream of in your 30s, 40s, or even 70s, you need to be making the right choices today. The 20s are where you build the foundation. What you create now will determine what kind of life you live for the next 30, 40, or 50 years. People often say, "You're young, enjoy it," and there's truth to that, but there's also something deeper. The truth is, your 20s are one of the only times in life where you have the flexibility, the energy, and the potential to change your circumstances. If you waste that time, you're not just throwing away the best years of your life, you're setting yourself up for a future you won't love. There's a misconception that you have forever to figure things out. But you don't. The world doesn't stop for you to catch up, and no one is going to hand you the life you want. Success, peace of mind, financial freedom, happiness, they don't just happen because you wish for them. They come from relentless effort, focus, and the willingness to make sacrifices. Right now, the choices you make will decide where you stand in 10 years, in 20 years. If you want to wake up at 30 and look around, knowing you're exactly where you want to be, you need to get to work now. The grind isn't glamorous, but it's necessary. The things that people won't tell you about your 20s are that they'll feel like they're slipping by, that they're slipping away while you're distracted. And that's the trick, distraction. The world is full of distractions, parties, social media, constant noise, short-term pleasures. And all of those things are fine in moderation, but if you let them take over, you'll wake up in your 30s feeling lost, stuck, and like you haven't done enough. But here's the thing, you don't have to be stuck. You can be the person who used their 20s to build something solid. You can be the person who sacrificed the late nights out, who stayed up working on that side project, who invested time in learning, growing, and hustling when others were sitting back. And when your 30s come, you'll have the privilege of choosing how to live. You won't be chasing after every paycheck, worrying about where your next opportunity is coming from. You'll be in a position of strength, of choice, of freedom. There's no magic formula, no shortcut to success. It's about doing the right thing, consistently, over time. Success doesn't come overnight. It's the result of years of discipline, years of putting in the work when nobody's watching, of choosing growth over comfort, of saying no to temporary pleasures in favor of long-term goals. And while this might sound like a lot of sacrifice, it's the kind of sacrifice that builds something real. Let's talk about those sacrifices. In your 20s, you might not have the career you want yet. You might still be figuring out where you fit in this world. But that's okay. This is the time to put in the effort, the time to fail, to learn, to grow. You will have to say no to some things. Maybe it's a weekend getaway with friends or binge watching a new show. Maybe it's going out on a Friday night when you should be up early on Saturday to work on that passion project. Maybe it's taking fewer vacations so you can save up, invest in yourself, and focus on your long-term dreams. It's about delayed gratification. It's about doing what's hard, what's uncomfortable, so that you can have the freedom, peace, and success you want in your later years. But here's where the magic happens. The sacrifices you make in your 20s won't feel like sacrifices forever. Eventually, they'll feel like investments, and when you start to see the fruits of your labor, the small wins stacking up, the projects coming together, the opportunities opening up, you'll realize that what you gave up to get here was worth it. You'll look at your 30s and 40s, and you'll see how the groundwork you laid paid off. You'll see the rewards of your work in a life that's not just about survival, but about thriving. Let me paint you a picture of what that could look like. In your 30s, you'll be waking up to a life where you have choices. You won't be chasing after every dollar because you've built a career or business that allows you the freedom to choose how you spend your time. You'll have a sense of fulfillment, knowing that the years you spent grinding paid off. You'll have built a reputation, a network, and a life that reflects the hard work you put in when everyone else was still figuring it out. And when you hit your 40s, you'll be even more secure. Make the sacrifice now, or pay for it forever. Let's be real. Your 20s are not for comfort. They're not for coasting. They're not for endless partying, scrolling, sleeping in, or pretending you have time. Because time is the one thing you don't have. Every easy choice you make now becomes a heavy regret later. Most people don't fail because they aren't capable. They fail because they chose comfort over discipline when it mattered most. You don't regret working too hard in your 20s. You regret not working hard enough when your body was strong, your mind was sharp, and your responsibilities were light. Your future self is watching you right now. Picture yourself at 40. Same dreams you have now. Same hunger. Same desire for freedom. But now you're tired. You've got bills, obligations, people depending on you. Your energy isn't the same. Your options are fewer. That version of you will either thank you or resent you. And resentment hurts more than failure. Because at 40, you won't be angry at the world. You'll be angry at your younger self for wasting time when it was priceless. Sacrifice isn't fun. That's the point. Sacrifice means saying no to nights out while others celebrate being broke now so you're not broken later. Studying when others are sleeping. Building skills when others are distracted. Choosing loneliness over fake company. Choosing growth over instant pleasure. It's uncomfortable. It's unfair. It's isolating. Good. If it were easy, everyone would be successful, and they're not. No one is coming to save you. Here's the brutal truth. No one cares about your potential. No one is keeping score of your intentions. No one owes you understanding. The world only responds to results, and results come from sacrifice. You either discipline yourself now, or life will discipline you later, much harder. Regret is a slow poison. Regret doesn't hit you all at once. It creeps in when you realize you stayed small to fit in. You see others living the life you wanted. You think, if only I started earlier. You know you could have done more but didn't. And the worst part, you can't rewind. You can only live with the consequences of who you chose to be. This is the last time your age will ever work in your favor. In your 20s, you can fail and recover. You can start over. You can take risks. You can rebuild fast. Later, mistakes cost more. Recovery takes longer. Opportunities close quietly. This is the cheapest time to chase your dreams. Waste it, and you'll spend decades paying interest. So choose your pain. Pain of discipline or pain of regret. Pain of sacrifice or pain of settling. Pain of growth or pain of knowing you quit on yourself. One of them lasts a few years. The other lasts a lifetime. Make the sacrifice. Work when others relax. Learn when others distract themselves. Build when others consume. Focus when others complain. Because one day, while they wonder what went wrong, you'll know exactly what went right. And you'll never have to say, I wish I tried harder when I was younger.